So here's the writing prompt I was going to talk about now that it's day 3 on our trip. Day 1, we just muddled about through the day to get to our first stop. Day 2 was all about honking at the little kids in the back of their cars on road trips. Day number 3 is going to be talking about this. Name a fictional character or monster you would love to have as a friend. Why do you think they would be a good friend to you? This one's been kind of tough. I've been thinking about this one for literally weeks. Let's hit the road. Of course. We'll get out here, we'll get up to speed, and then we'll start talking. Let me know in the comment section what fictional character you would like to have as a friend. The thing that intrigued me about this question was the monster aspect of it. And I didn't really think of the friend aspect of the question either. I was thinking of more of which monster would you prefer to be a roommate with, because friend, I don't know. Fictional characters and friends. I mean, we could talk about that, but I thought for monsters it would be funny to talk about which one, if you had to choose one, would you choose to be roommates with. Werewolf would definitely be no. And I think Frankenstein would also be definite no. Frankenstein's monster. Number 1, Wolf Man would be the hair issue, the unpredictability, the drooling. No, we just don't need that. Frankenstein's monster. I don't need the clomping and the noise complaints and the inability to communicate. We'll strike that off. We'll come up with a better fictional character or monster to choose as a roommate. And along the trip, we'll hopefully find a way to talk about a fictional character that you could be friends with. I don't know who that's going to be. My favorite book of all time is called A Soldier of the Great War. It was written by Mark Halperin. It's a frame story about an old man named Alessandro Giuliani, or Giuliano, I forget what his last name was. Basically, he's on a bus trip from his hometown to another town nearby to do whatever it is. And for some reason, he gets thrown off the bus, him and another young boy. So basically, the whole book is about them on their walk from one town to another, and the old man says, let's just walk, we'll make it, it'll be fine. Just because you're struggling doesn't mean you're not getting it done. And the young guy wants to just go back and get another bus. So the old guy convinces the young guy to walk with him. And on the walk between towns, the old man tells the young boy his life story. So that's the whole point of the book. And it's not set in modern times. A lot of the story takes place in the early 1900s and World War I time frame. It's a story about war, friendship, love, everything you could think of. It's a good book. Go check it out. I think I could be friends with a guy like Alessandro Giuliani or Giuliano, whatever it is. Just because that's my favorite book, I'm going to say that's the character I'd like to be friends with, even though he's like 80 or 90 or whatever in the book. It's actually been a long time since I've read that book. I've read it a couple times, but it's been a while. That would probably be my choice. It would be weird because he's so old, and I'm not that old. Even though I've got this moniker of Old Guy Gamer, I'm still kind of middle-aged. I'm just upper middle-aged. Actually, that might not even be true. I might just be middle-aged. But that would be my first choice. Second choice. I'm trying to think of someone funny, like a fictional character that's funny, but typically fictional characters aren't. I guess I'm kind of sticking my options to book characters. I guess it would always be cool to be friends with a superhero, so you could pick like Batman or Superman. there might be some sort of benefit to having a rich Batman friend. Another bypass, nice. Being friends with Superman would be cool. You could be the Lois Lane or the Jimmy Olsen. That'd be kind of neat. What other superheroes? I've been big into Marvel lately. Having Iron Man as your friend would be cool. That's not... Yeah, that's fictional. I was thinking it's real. Duh. He's fictional, but he's a real human being, not a superhero. I guess having any superhero as a friend would be pretty awesome. Even some of the minor heroes, like... I don't want to even say any names because they're all superheroes, but even some of the less popular ones would be really cool to be friends with because you're friends with a superhero. Let's see, what else? As far as funny people that are fictional that you'd want to be friends with, yeah, it's when it comes to the funny people, I think I'd rather be friends with than roommates. The superheroes might be better roommates. The comedy people might be better friends. I'm trying to think of like SNL characters that I'd want to be friends with. Can't really think of any. I'm thinking of characters, but they'd all be horrible friendships. You know who would be cool to be a roommate with would be a guy named Dirk Pitt. He is the main character in a bunch of books by Clive Cussler. It's not his latest series, but it was some of his earlier stuff. Dirk Pitt is this, like, oceanographic charity executive / adventurer. Super smart. He's an aviator. He's got a car collection. He's just... You have to read the books to understand how cool he is. It'd be kind of cool to be a roommate with him because he's rich. He's got a lot of cool cars and planes. He lives in an airplane hangar to keep his, collections of cool stuff. And he's going to have some really great stories to tell you over the years because he goes on all these fabulous adventures. And plus he's gone a lot of the time on his ocean voyages, doing studies and whatnot. So even when he's not off on adventure, you might have some more private time just to enjoy the quiet. And then when he comes home, he has a story because he's always got these misadventures. They actually made a movie out of one of the Dirk Pitt novels. The movie was called Sahara. It had okay, apparently I crashed. I didn't pause first. I just went to another screen. Darn it. Anyways, the actor's name that I was trying to think of was Matthew McConaughey. He played Dirk Pitt in a movie. I thought if I minimized the screen and went to another internet browser, it paused the game automatically. I guess it does not. Oh, 4% trailer damage. No percent cargo damage. Oh boy. Anyway, let's take a moment to collect ourselves. Matthew McConaughey was the actor who played Dirk Pitt in the movie Sahara. My goodness. Well, at least that all happened off camera. So Matthew McConaughey played Dirk Pitt in the movie Sahara. That's a good movie to watch. It's a good book to read. Give you an idea of who the characters are. Let me know in the comments who you think you would like to be a roommate with or friends with. Either a fictional character or monster. It might be... The Sherlock Holmes popped into my head as a maybe. but the way he was portrayed in the show Elementary, I was like, I don't know if I'd want to live with the guy that's that eccentric. It'd be cool to live with someone that's rich and, you know, smart and all that, but eccentric and weird is another level of, I don't know. Let's see, who else could we pick? I'm going to slow down this cruise control here. What other fictional characters would you want to live with? Pippi Longstocking, the assassin from Salt, the Angelina Jolie character. I almost said Hulk Hogan. That's a real person. Oh my goodness. How about the Blues Brothers? Would you want to live with them in their little apartment right next to the L tracks? My wife was making fun of me the other day for liking that movie Under the Tuscan Sun with Diane Lane. I don't know why I like that movie, I just did. Her, I want to be her friend. Maybe I should think bigger. Would I want to be friends with like Romeo and Juliet? Some Shakespeare character? Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn popped into my head because of them being adventurous. Now, obviously they're children, but when I was a child, that would have been cool to be their friends. Would you want to be roommates with MacGyver? Or friends with MacGyver? Adventurer, scientist? That's actually a show I've never watched. I've only seen the references to it on SNL. Oh, you know who I could be really good friends with and who I would probably enjoy being friends with? Ted Lasso. There's a good one. And it's a reference that's not 40 years old, finally. I was trying to think of some comedy person playing a role in a movie that I wanted to be friends with. I still haven't thought of a good one. Like I was trying to think of a Will Ferrell character like Ron Burgundy. I wouldn't want to be friends. I would not want to be friends with Ron Burgundy. I would not want to be friends with the two guys from Night at the Roxbury. There's a really old movie called Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone. I could be friends with those two people in that movie. I liked that movie a lot back then. I had the VHS copy of it. I don't know why that popped into my head, but they're nice people. So the guy from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Fred Rogers, was a real person, but Mr. Rogers in the show was fictional because it was all imagination and that stuff. If I could be friends with Mr. Rogers, that would be stellar. I wonder if there's a Tom. Oh, how about? No, he's real. I was gonna say Santa, but you can't say him. He's real. What about? Well, the good news is we got over 5 hours, at least 6 hours, to continue thinking about what fictional character we'd want to live with or be friends with. Because I don't want to end this day unless we are less than 10 hours remaining for tomorrow's drive. What was the name of that show? In trying to think of a fictional character to be a friend with or live with, I'm thinking of these shows that I'd like to go back and watch. Blast from the Past is a movie I could watch again. I was just trying to think of a name of a show, and I probably shouldn't even bring it up until I think of it. You know what? I'm going to pause the game this time and then go look it up. Alright, I got it. And I came back and the truck wasn't crashed. That's good. What am I up to on damage now anyway? 11%. My goodness. I got to take better care of this truck if I'm going to make it last 100,000 miles. So, the show that I was thinking of was The Greatest American Hero. It was a show in the 80s about this superhero as he's trying to learn to take advantage of his abilities. I don't remember how he got his special powers or whatever, but I was just sitting here humming the song to myself and thinking, whether or not I'd want to be friends with that guy, and then it made me think, oh, I should probably go watch that show again. That'd be kind of cool. I was actually, this is just a Netflix story, but I was thinking of a movie I wanted to watch from the 80s called It Takes Two. And no, it's not the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie. There's another movie called It Takes Two. It was about this guy that lives in Dallas that's getting married. And before he gets married, he wants to go and buy this like fancy car from Dallas or wherever it was. And it's all his adventures of buying this car and then it being a piece of junk and then going and taking his revenge on the car company and getting a good version of the car at the end. I was looking for a place to watch that show, and I was searching all of the different streaming services. Just put it in the search block, see if it's available. None of them had it, but then I want to say less than 2 months later, Netflix had it. So I was wondering if it takes the things that people search for and then includes it on their watch list if it's not too crazy out there, because it became available and I was able to watch it. So I was thinking maybe I should do the same thing with Greatest American Hero. I could search that on Netflix and maybe it'll pop up one of these days. That's one of those shows I could watch again. There's some shows that you look back and think on and say, oh, I can watch that again, and then you start watching it and it's just complete garbage. I remember watching Knight Rider, the series with David Hasselhoff, when I was a kid, and I started watching it again as an adult this year, and I literally made it through 2 or 3 episodes, couldn't watch it anymore. It was the same thing with Dukes of Hazzard. I used to watch that show as a kid all the time. I got through... It was more of that show. I think I watched most of the first season, if not all of the first season, and I just didn't care as much about it. It's better in my memory than it was in actuality. I wonder if you could be friends with a guy like 007. Probably not, right? A guy like James Bond. That friendship would be just a little too weird, I think. You know, being an international spy and all. What about the Nicolas Cage character from the National Treasure movies? Would you want to be friends with... What was it? He was named after, a founding father. Was it Benjamin Franklin something? And he was always trying to protect his family name, and here I am, I can't remember it. I wonder if you'd want to be friends with that guy. Always treasure hunting and... Captain Underpants, Caillou, Nancy Drew, Barney the Dinosaur, just naming nonsense now, Fred Flintstone, Jane Eyre. How about Captain whatever his name is, Maverick from Top Gun? How about Walter Mitty? Ben Stiller played Walter Mitty in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Just a boring risk assessment, whatever he was. He was a photo... It wasn't... Along Came Polly, he was the risk assessment guy. In Walter Mitty, he was something about a photo editor from Life magazine or something like that. Kind of boring at the beginning of the movie and end up turning out having a great story at the end. I mean, at least that wouldn't be crazy out there kind of a friendship. Not as exciting or dangerous as Dirk Pitt, but one good story he probably tells way too often. You know, one of those friends. Uh-oh. Hey, I can bypass. Sweet. I'm on day 3 of this 4-day trip, and I have gotten to bypass way more way stations than I've had to stop at. That's awesome. Would you want to be friends with the Connor family from the Roseanne show? Whatever that's called now. How about the Golden Girls? I'll just start naming 80s shows. David Hasselhoff. The Knight Rider character, not David Hasselhoff, the character that he played, Michael Knight. How about the Duke Boys? I mentioned the shows. I didn't mention what it would be like to be friends with them. I would hate to be friends with the Duke Boys. I mentioned that I watched the first few episodes of that first season. It was weird that Uncle Jesse said that the Duke tradition was that they could take out whatever retribution against someone who wronged them as long as it only inflicted property damage, not personal injury. So you could blow up someone's barn or damage someone's car as long as you didn't hurt them. I'm like, oh, so they're criminals. Okay. If they had a more professional police department, the Dukes would have been spending their entire lives behind bars. I don't mean the boar's nest, I mean in prison. Oh my goodness. I guess it's a good premise for a show, right? You can shoot flaming arrows into other people's cars. As long as the person crawls out of the wreckage and is fine, you're okay. Oh, let's see, what else? How about some 90s shows? How about Steve Urkel? Would you want to be friends with Steve Urkel? I know you wouldn't want to be roommates with him. I could be friends with Carl Winslow, that'd be kind of cool. He's the dad who is the cop that Steve Urkel was always visiting. Would you want to be friends with John McClane, the guy from Die Hard? Oh, jeez Louise. This is why the AI is screwy. At least I had an escape route. What other fictional characters? B.J. McKay and his monkey? I don't know what kind of monkey it was. Some sort of primate friend bear? Would you want to be friends with Smokey and or the Bandit? What else? Would you want to be friends with Harry Potter? That actually might be kind of cool. I could see being friends with Harry Potter. Probably emotionally scarred from the battles he had to fight as a young person, but the way the movies ended, it might not be so bad. He's just a government worker, right? Of course, you'd probably have to be a wizard yourself to be friends with the wizard like Harry Potter, but... who else could we be friends with in the real world from the fictional world? That dude did not scoot over at all. What's the guy's name from all the Patriot Games movies? Jack Ryan. Would you want to be friends with Jack Ryan? Would you want to be friends with Gru from Despicable Me? Well, heck, we could spend an hour talking about all the Disney characters you could be friends with. I probably wouldn't want to be friends with the Little Mermaid. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. She's probably nice. She's not human. She's only half human. That's got to be weird. I think I'm just going to stick to human friends. Well, actually, that's not true. I mentioned superheroes. Disney. Well, then I could go into Star Wars, too. I already did the Marvel question. I could do Disney and Star Wars. Would you want to be friends with Luke Skywalker? Probably not. Too much drama, right? The whole rebel fighting the Galactic Empire. I don't need that kind of weirdness in my life. Be cool to be friends with the Mandalorian, right? He's always off and about doing his own thing, in his own world, in his own minding his own business. But if you were actually friends with him and he stopped by to say hello every time he was on your planet, that'd be kind of cool. At least you know he's an honorable person. This one I am not sure. Would you want to be friends with Homer Simpson? I am not so sure I could be friends with Homer Simpson. I could probably be friends with an adult version of Lisa Simpson, but a bumbling idiot who keeps hurting himself, I don't know. That might not be a good thing. I might want to keep a respectable distance and let him be the guy who lives on the next block. I don't need to be friends. I could be friends with Ned Flanders. What about the Friends gang? Monica, Ross, Chandler, Joey, Phoebe, and who am I missing? Rachel. Yeah. I knew there was 6. I just couldn't think of them all right off the top of my head. How would you like to be friends with them? It'd be kind of cool to have a gang of friends that you could like hang out at the coffee shop with like they did. I almost feel like having 6 close friends like that would be too many for me. Seinfeld seemed like he had it right. Just really it kind of started off as just the 3 of them. Jerry, George, and Elaine, and then they added in Kramer later. 4 is okay, 3 would be better. Good friends like that. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm at that point where I got to get some more gas and stop to go to sleep. We talked for that whole day about fictional characters we could be friends with. If I could only choose one of all those ones I mentioned, I think Superman would probably be the best. He's got the perfect sense of honor. He's got strength. He's got a good job. He's not going to be asking you to borrow money. I think Superman is the perfect friend / roommate. And if you're ever dangling from a cliff, he'll probably swoop in and save you. So that's probably the best answer. And we'll probably end our day. Now we just got to find a place to gas up and sleep. Tell you what, you want to put some miles on your truck or make a ton of money? Get a job going from Eugene, Oregon to San Antonio, Texas. My goodness. A 4-day trip. Look at that beautiful truck. Give myself just enough space to turn left and pull out of there in case someone parks right behind me. Let's get some sleep. Man, oh man, we got a bunch of time left in this trip, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about today. My, oh my, once bitten, twice shy, y'all. I just said I was going to turn left right away, and I didn't do it. Alright, we got out of there okay. I don't see any other cars coming. I will tell you one thing, this trailer, this freight, and this truck have all taken a beating on this trip. My goodness. I remember being 4% damage on the truck, and it was up to 5 when I started this trip. Oh my gosh. I should probably press the right button. I'm up to 12% damage on the truck, which likely would have gone up to 6, maybe 7 on this length of a trip. But I had a car hit me at an agricultural station down in leaving Oregon going into California. And then the other one was just a glitch in the Matrix where I went to go on another screen and look up Matthew McConaughey's name and didn't realize. I thought the game paused when you did that, and apparently it doesn't. So that truck ended up in a ditch. Thankfully not on its roof or side. At least I was able to just pull back out on the road and continue. All trucks must exit unless it's blocked off. Okay. Well, folks, I don't know what we're going to talk about today. I guess we could talk about celebrities you want to live with or be roommates with, be friends with. I think I want to save that for another day. This is the new Texas DLC. I mean, it was just released last week. I did a couple of videos on it when it was the day it was released. I remember passing up Golf Course Drive before, so I've been down this road before. Let me look up just a hair. We'll get that landscape in the view. Try and drive third person without putting this thing in the ditch again. Yeah, I don't think I'm really going to talk about anything on this last leg of the trip. Let's just get it done, get our money. We started out with 700,000. We're up to 1.8. My truck drivers have made me over $1 million since I started this one freight job. Yep, we had been on that road. Now we're blazing new territory here. We went left at that exit last time. This is all new roads. Remember at the beginning of this video I said we had just over 10,000 miles? Look at it now. 12.3. This trip right here is put on, by the time we get there, it'll be 30% of the total miles of the truck. Wonder if I'll be able to find a trip going back to Oregon that's just as long. When I was doing my videos last week when the Texas DLC came out, I said you could put a lot of miles on your truck just in Texas. Maybe that's what I should try and do. I don't think I ever did finish... Oh, Scott's Law. I don't think I ever did finish the Drive Texas event. I should probably at least try. Alright, boys and girls, is this what Fort Stockton, Texas looks like? Whoa. Alright, is it going to be a scenic viewpoint? An employment agency? Alright, it's a viewpoint. Might as well stop and look at it, I guess, huh? That was Fort Stockton, Texas. Scenic viewpoint. I gotta get some gas. Some diesel. I am floating here on fumes. I probably need to get in the left lane here. Make my way into this gas station somewhere up here. There she is with the yellow canopy. Now I see her. Looks like I gotta turn early before my checkpoint. This is the truck entrance here. I think I can just go straight. Let's try this little chase cam for a little bit. There's Etienne. I thought Etienne was his last name. That's his first name. Someone remind me a couple of weeks from now if I actually looked up that TV show, Great American Hero. I really hope I remember to go look it up. Because I would like to watch an episode or two of that show. I'll tell you what, I think I could live in this part of Texas. It's got hills, it's got trees. I bet it gets hot. Go get him, Freightliner. Oh boy, the shadows are getting longer. It's already after 3 o'clock. Here we are in San Antone. Getting ready to hop on I-35, going south. Our delivery is actually in San Antonio, so let's see how far we gotta go. I'm gonna jump back in the truck for this last hour. Look at San Antonio. I've actually been to San Antonio once. Not in the game, I mean in real life. Went down there on vacation once. It was a long weekend, so we flew into Dallas, got a rental car, and got away with speeding down I-35 all the way from Dallas to San Antonio. Like Got a buddy that lives in Temple, Texas. He told me I was extremely lucky to not get pulled over by DPS. That is the Texas version of the Highway Patrol, or Troopers, however you want to call it. They do not mess around. I got a buddy that lives up here by me. He said he was down in Texas one time and got pulled over for doing 2 miles per hour over the speed limit. He did not get a ticket, but he did get pulled over. So he said he thought that the I don't want to call them a trooper. They don't call themselves troopers. A ranger is what they call them, the Texas Rangers. He said that the ranger, he thought that the guy was joking. So when he said he pulled him over for 2 miles per hour over the speed limit, and then found out very quickly he was not joking. He was serious the whole time. Never cracked a smile. Never attempted to lighten the mood. Just serious the whole time about that serious violation of 2 miles per hour over the speed limit. Whatever. It is what it is. Just be careful if you're speeding in Texas. Don't do it. Well, we've got a surface street or two here. Let's hop out and drive from the outside again. I was going to do this all in the cab, but it is still interesting to look at San Antonio in a video game. Oh man, a rest station right under the highway. That's awesome. Well, I will tell you what, we are almost there, so I'll say my goodbyes now so I can do my traditional sign off and show you how it ends. But this has been quite a trip. I haven't done a trip this long in a long time. I used to, when I first started playing this game and recording it for YouTube, I would do long trips one day at a time, a video for each day. That was when I was showing the entire trip without editing out the quiet, non-talking parts. Now that I edit out the non-talking parts, I can make them shorter. But this video might be a long one just because a 4-day trip is a 4-day trip. I'm going to have to figure out a way to edit out all that honking at kids pumping their arms, trying to get me to honk at them. There was quite a few. Got to debate whether I'm going to count all those for the fun of it or just let it go and enjoy the process of just enjoying the ride, being someone's entertainment for a moment. Hello, doggy. And then I had that third day where I talked about fictional characters the whole time. What do we have, 11 hours, whatever it was, talking about who we'd like to be roommates with and friends with. And then finally this last day, we just need to get this job done. I mean, I still ended up talking quite a bit, but just not about anything in particular. Just talking about nothing. What is this? This is a Suma. Okay. So I'm going to get over here. This is where we're delivering to. I'm going to drop this trailer and go about my business. Made over $1 million in these 4 days. Well over $1 million in these 4 days. I made 100 grand and my drivers made me 1 point something million. So I'm gonna go do my job and make my money. You guys go watch some more videos. I'm gonna go play some more games, but I'm gonna take a break first, and I'll see you back here next time. Mm-hmm.